In this video, I spent 7 days or 1 week to build Dr. Ratio as a free to-play player to test how strong this free unit really is. For the next week I'm going to be spending all my Trailblaze power to level up his traces, light cone, and relics. This is going to be a long one, so grab a drink or popcorn, and let's get started. We start off by claiming our free Dr. Ratio from the mail for Honkai Star Rail winning game of the year. Unlike Genshin, who could never give away a free 5-star character even when they won game of the year, I went ahead and leveled him up to level 50. We still need some more materials to level him up to level 60. I also went ahead and gave him a temporary light cone. This isn't the light cone we'll be using on our Dr. Ratio. Once I have enough Herta credits, I'm going to purchase Cruising in the Stellar Sea for him. All his traces are currently at level 1. And I've given him some temporary relics to use for now. None of these relics are particularly good, but we're going to get him better ones along the line. The team we are going to be using consists of Wanmei, Dr. Ratio, Natasha, and Blade. I actually was quite lucky to get Blade and Wanmei last patch. I wasn't even going to pull for Wanmei, but I got her 4 pulls after getting Blade. Has to be one of the best characters I've ever gotten as a free-to-play. She is absolutely broken and a seriously strong character. This likely isn't a perfect or even good team, but we do have a limited pool of characters. The artifact set we're going to be farming for Dr. Ratio is Wastelander of Banditry Desert. The relic plan right now is 4-piece Wastelander of Banditry Desert with a crit body and speed or attack boots. The planar set we are going for is Inert Salsado, with the sphere being imaginary damage bonus and the rope attack percent. You might have noticed this account is quite low level. Only Trailblazer level 42. That is because this isn't my first account but a new one that I started in patch 1.6, because I made a lot of mistakes on my last and first HSR account. So far this account has been going great, mainly due to the fact I am more experienced in the game. I'm only quickly going to go over the other characters in our team. Wanmei is running but the battle isn't over as her light cone. Her talents are 3, 4, 4, and 4. And I've got some decent artifacts for her. We currently have 102 break effect on our Wanmei. My goal is to hit 180 break effect, which will maximize our Wanmei's damage boost provided by her trace. Blade is one of my better built characters. I've gotten some pretty good stats for him so far. He's running a secret vow as his light cone, which I've heard listed as his best 4-star light cone. I was lucky enough to get it while pulling for him. His traces are currently at 4, 3, 4, and 5. For his relics I've gotten some decent 4-star ones for him to use until I get a proper set of 5-star relics. Last but not least is Natasha. We're not going to be focusing on her in this video since she does enough healing currently to support the team. Her light cone is shared feeling, talents are 1, 4, 4, and 4, and her relics are serviceable for now. Now that we've gone over everything, it's time to get to farming. I've saved up a total of 16 fuel, or 960 Trailblaze power, which should be enough to get at least 1 or 2 good artifacts, right?
Are you sure about that?
Anyways, let's get into it.
대답해. 흐름은 정해졌다. 기안의 파멸. 초대할 수 있지. 시험해보자. 마이너스. 오류를 근절하시. 망점. 마이너스.
That's all the farming I think we're going to be doing for now. We should have gotten at least 1 or 2 relics we can use for our doctor ratio. This looks like a promising piece, so let's level it up. Three rolls into break effect, 1 into speed, and 1 into crit rate. It's not a bad piece. Break effect, speed, and crit rate are all good stats. I just wish 1 more roll went into crit rate or speed. It's the best relic we have right now for our doctor ratio, so we're going to keep it for him. This piece also looks promising. 1 roll into defense. We'll hold on to this piece for now, but that defense roll isn't looking good. While we're at it, let's level up some of his traces. His traces are now at 1, 4, 2, and 4. Along with that, I leveled him up to the max level we can get him to, level 60. I was trying to beat Simulated Universe 7 to get enough Herda early to purchase Cruising in the Stellar Sea for our doctor ratio when this happened. After that, I went back to farming relics and got some new pieces. Remember the hen piece we leveled before? I decided to go ahead and level it up to the max. I'm glad that we didn't give up on this piece after that defense roll. I also changed the original plan to get 4-piece Wastelander of Banditry Desert to instead getting 2-piece Wastelander of Banditry Desert and 2-piece the Ash-Blazing Grand Duke for our doctor ratio. These 2 pieces might not be the best, but we'll be using them for now until we get something better. We definitely need a better body, feet, sphere, and rope for our doctor ratio. I did some farming to get a better rope and sphere, and ended up getting this rope for doctor ratio. I decided to get more of his traces materials with the remaining resin we have left over from this morning, which means we have to fight the bug for its boss drops. We didn't get a whole lot done today compared to the other days. We fought the bug boss again so we could work on leveling up Dr. Ratio's traces and did some more artifact farming, which didn't turn out as fruitful as it did on the other days. We didn't get any good pieces for our Dr. Ratio, but we did level up more of his traces. Something noteworthy that did happen was that we got Superimposition 2 of, but the battle isn't over from the standard banner. Day 4 went about the same as Day 3. We did our dailies, some relic farming with all of our resin, and hit Trailblazer level 46. The relic grind for today didn't go well. We only got one Ash Blazing Grand Duke piece, which isn't even good, and the rest of the pieces were all from the other relic set in the domain. None of them were particularly good either. It appears our lucky streak at the start of this challenge has come to an end. We used the fuel we got from reaching Trailblazer level 46 to do one more run for the day and didn't get anything. Not like we were expecting anything at this point. Right now our biggest problem with our Dr. Ratio is his crit rate. With all his buffs from his talent and the buff from his light cone for enemies falling under 50% HP, we can get about 47 crit rate, which compared to his crit damage is a little low. I'd like at least 50 or 60 crit rate. We need a feat or sphere with a crit rate substat. Or I'm also considering superimposing his light cone to 5 once we get enough Aiobahns. We start the day off by continuing our grind for better relics. At this point it's been a while since I've seen a Duke piece. I just want a Duke piece, is that too much to ask? Okay, a body please crit damage, please crit damage. Effect hit rate, seriously? Could this be our lucky day? This is the piece we really need to replace. Alright, attack, and it's a 4-liner with crit damage. It does have flat attack, HP, and defense however. If it could all roll into crit damage I might consider using it, but we really need more crit rate. I don't know where it got the memo that we need a Duke head piece, we need a body or boots. You've got to be kidding me. Alright, we've used all our power for basically nothing. I'm just going ahead and going to see where those boots we got earlier are going to go. There's a really high chance it all goes into a bad substat. Flat attack? One more roll, alright, just one more. If it rolls into anything but crit damage I'm dropping this piece. What was I really expecting? Today the simulated universe rewards reset, so we'll be able to get enough Aiobahns to superimpose Dr. Ratio's light cone to level 1, which will get us more crit rate. Along with that we're going to be farming his ornaments today. Perhaps we'll have more luck here than in relic domains. We can also test out how much damage our team and Dr. Ratio do in simulated universe. We're picking Path of Elation since it increases our Dr. Ratio's follow-up attacks damage. Our characters actually do pretty good damage compared to their level. I'm sure they'll do even more once we can level them up further. Alright, our first elite boss, at level 59. First we use Dr. Ratio's technique, Yuan Mei's, and finally Blade's technique for 100,000 damage, which is crazy. And I think this is mostly due to Yuan Mei, she's just that broken. And it looks like right now our Dr. Ratio is doing 10,000 per follow-up attack and the enemy doesn't even get a turn before we finish it off. All we get is an HP sphere however. Looks like our luck is the same as in relic domains. We've got an error code curio event. I'm just going to pick the one that advances our turns. Why is it so hard to hit this trotter? And it got away. Well, that's embarrassing. I can't even hit a trotter. Anyways, let's just continue. I think I made a mistake by not healing Blade with Natasha and, oh no. He's dead. This is fine, we still have Dr. Ratio. I forgot to record my fight against the second elite boss. Sorry for that. We hit Cocolia for an initial 45,000 with our team's techniques. Now we use Yuan Mei's skill and ultimate to buff our team. Next up is Dr. Ratio's ultimate, which hits for 12,000. His follow-up attack hits for 21,000.
That defense? Think! counterparts next. Fail. Get out. Just as my calculations predicted. Need I teach someone a lesson? I'm asking the questions. You have answers.
We used that free standard wish we got from the simulated universe and got superimposition one of Blade's light cones. Later in the day some of our power refreshed, so instead of farming relics I decided to get back to farming his traces, which would give us guaranteed upgrades for our doctor ratio instead of waiting for the RNG gods to bless us. And yes, while farming traces is horrible, and the drops are pretty bad, at least auto battle exists. We were able to level up our doctor ratio's traces up again. Since it is nearly impossible to get an on-set imaginary damage bonus sphere within the challenge limit, I came up with a plan that would guarantee the sphere for us. At level 40 in the battle pass they give us one self-modeling resin, which will allow us to craft the imaginary damage bonus on-set sphere. We're currently at level 37 of the battle pass. My plan is to complete Swarm and Golden Gears to get us to level 40 of the battle pass. Before I was stuck on Swarm, but now we've leveled up our team, gotten Doctor Ratio and new relics, so we're going to give Swarm another shot. We've made it to the end of the Swarm tutorial and we now have only the bug to defeat. This was always the part where my team before couldn't get past, but we'll see how good our current team does. $34,000 from Dr. Ratio's Ultimate, $17,000 from Blade's Enhanced Basic, and $50,000 from his follow-up. Now that we've beat the Swarm tutorial, we're going to quickly speedrun the Gold and Gears tutorial. With the tutorial finished, it's time to do the actual thing now. $26,000 from our doctor ratio. I'll have to say our doctor ratio is doing pretty good. He can almost consistently hit 20,000s on his follow-up, and for the amount of time we've had to build him, it's pretty good damage. And might I remind you, he isn't even fully leveled, his traces aren't maxed out, and some of his artifacts aren't very good. $12,000 from his skill and $28,000 from his follow-up attack, and $90,000 from Blade's follow-up. That's insane. And he doesn't even have good artifacts yet. Just imagine all the damage he'll do once we properly build him. $92,000 from Blade's follow-up. Blade plus Elation is kinda broken so far. And another $90,000. And Blade finishing off Yanqing with $111,000 from his follow-up. That's insane.
Let's go, Bladey.
$44,000 from Blade's ultimate. $43,000 from his enhanced basic. What is going on here? And $49,000 again, and oh my god, $72,000 from his follow-up. And his ultimate is ready so quickly already. And his ultimate is ready again. That's enough. Blade, our doctor ratio does 27,000 with his skill. And 37,000 with his skill again. And 250,000 from our Blade's follow-up attack. That's the most damage I've ever seen so far on this account. I don't even think we ever hit that much on our old account. With that, we hit level 40 in the battle pass and get the self-modeling resin we needed. At this point, substats aren't our biggest concern, so we're just going to work with what they give us, even if it isn't all that good since we really need this sphere. Let's just go ahead and max it out. Now, the substats are frankly terrible, but this is the best we're going to get for now. And I think that we've completed his relics, at least for the time being. They might not be the best, but they at least work until we can improve on them in the future. At the end of the day, we used some power that had refreshed to do a few more relic runs and ended up getting this piece. Now, our other headpiece is pretty good, and is on set, but this piece is just too tempting not to level it up. If it all rolls into crit, we might actually use it. Speed is actually really good, since we are kinda low on it. Okay, speed and crit damage. This is looking really good so far. Crit damage again. And last roll into crit rate. This is actually a really insane piece. Nothing went into effect hit rate, only into all the best stats. Compared to the relic we're currently running, there isn't much to say, this is just way better. We do lose the set bonus, but I think it's worth it. Lastly, I went ahead and gave a shot at beating Simulated Universe 8 so we could have enough Hertobons to superimpose Dr. Ratio's light cone to Superimposition 3. Our Dr. Ratio is actually doing some pretty impressive damage, nothing crazy. We'd probably do even more if we had Bronya, Pella, or Topaz, but it's respectable damage for his level and relics. We can now superimpose Dr. Ratio's light cone to Superimposition 3. The main reason I wanted to get this superimposition is, well, because of the crit rate. The more crit rate on our Dr. Ratio the better. If Dr. Ratio doesn't crit, his numbers are pretty low, so I want to get as much crit rate as I can. With his traces and everything, I think we can get around 60 to 70 crit rate, which I think is a pretty good ratio compared to our 150 crit damage. On day 7, and the final day, we hit Trailblazer level 50, which means our world level increased and we could level up our Dr. Ratio to level 70 and his light cone and traces. Since it was the final day, and we had quite some time before it ended, I decided to go ahead and level our Dr. Ratio up as far as we could go. First off, we did Equilibrium Part 4 to level up our world. It was really easy, just don't look at Blade or Natasha. Next up was Dr. Ratio's Ascension materials. We needed more of his boss materials, so we're going to go ahead and do that really quick. Got all his boss materials now, so we can ascend him and level him up to level 70. Next up, we have to do traces again to level up his light cone and traces, which is not great. I didn't think we'd have to return here. I just really hate farming these arrows, since you can only get them through Calyx and nowhere else. At least we have autoplay. After a while of Calyx farming, we finally have enough arrows to level up our Dr. Ratio's light cone and traces. We now have 56 crit rate without buffs, and it's going to be around 70 crit rate with buffs from his traces and light cone. Along with that, I went ahead and leveled up Wan Mei's and Natasha's light cones, since we already had enough materials to do that. With that, it's time to go over our Dr. Ratio's final build that we put together in 7 days. First off, he's at level 70, 2.7 thousand HP, 2.8 thousand attack, 1.1 thousand defense, 109 speed. We probably should have more, 56 crit rate unbuffed, and 150 crit damage unbuffed. We also have 38% imaginary damage boost. His light cone is at level 70, and Superimposition 3. For his traces, we've unlocked all of these. And his traces are at 1, 5, 6, and 7. For his relics, we've got this pretty good headpiece. The crit rate on this hand is really good, 11%. This crit damage body is really bad, the substats are horrible, but it's the best we have. The boots are... they do have some crit rate. And I don't think anything can redeem this sphere. And for his rope, actually, this isn't that bad. 17 crit damage, could be more. That's it for relics. They're not very good, but for just 1 week, I'd say it's decent. And of course, he's E0. How much damage are we going to do? 140k, and the boss is nearly one shot. 150k. 23k from his ultimate. 13k from his skill and 30k from his follow-up. 38k from his follow-up again. And another 32k from his follow-up. $79k. 9k from his skill and 35k from his follow-up. 12k from his skill and 24k, and 43k from his follow-up. Our doctor ratio is absolutely destroying Jeopard. And I guess that's all I have for you guys this video. Thank you so much for watching, and especially if you watched all the way to the end, it really does mean a lot. This video took quite a while to make, and it would really help if you could subscribe, like, and maybe even leave a comment while you're at it. Maybe even consider sharing this video with a friend or family. It helps me and the channel out, and every sub does make my day better. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and thank you.